Hi, everybody. Welcome back.
Hi.
Yep. This is My Thing, Your Thing with Donovan
And Hannah.
Hey. This is the...
That was very morning radio show.
It sure was. Hey, welcome. How's everybody going? This is
Juju and the Bear.
Anyway, this one is about the third James Bond film, Goldfinger, considered by many to be the best one.
Okay.
Hannah's on board.
Yeah, man, I'm on board.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been increasing in quality thus far. Surely that's a trend that will never go away.
Yeah, two data points.
2 data points.
Mm-hmm.
You can definitely draw a line from that.
Yes, you absolutely can.
And should. It's encouraged. Scientists out there.
Yes, all scientists would tell you that you should extrapolate based on incomplete data, everything, just all the time. Also, anecdotal evidence. That's good, too.
Well, now I'm sad.
Well, you know what's going to make you happy? We're going to
watching Goldfinger?
Yeah, we're going to watch Goldfinger. But before we watch Goldfinger, let's talk a little bit about kind of everything leading up to it. So, as I mentioned last time, From Russia with Love was a huge success, even bigger than the first one.
Right. So then they're like, okay, we're making 1 million of these.
Yeah, this one definitely was, they were stepping up their game.
So budget so far, 1 million, 2 million. How much was this?
3 million.
3 million.
3 million. Yes, they upped it by another million. They had a little bit of tough time choosing which movie to do. Apparently, they wanted to do On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which is an Ian Fleming book.
Right.
And they were working on the script for that, but they couldn't. They had to film that in a certain place, and they couldn't get the production schedule for it.
Sure.
Then they said, "Oh, well, let's do Thunderball," because that was what they wanted to do for the first one. But Thunderball was still...
Because Thunderball's the first movie, or first book.
No, it's not.
No?
It was the most recent book to come out when they started making the films.
Ew.
And so that was sort of why they wanted to do that one. Thunderball, legal problems. It had something to do with the screenplay writer, some other stuff like that.
Like they had already hired a guy to write the screenplay, and then they were in like contract dispute with him.
Basically, when we get to Thunderball, I'll explain kind of the whole thing. So Goldfinger was kind of the third choice for this movie. Fascinating to think of in hindsight because of how
beloved this movie is.
Movie is. Yeah, absolutely.
Can I just say, there doesn't seem to be a lot of consistency with how the books and then movies are named.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Goldfinger, Thunderball, From Russia with Love, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and then
Goldfinger, Dr. No.
Yeah, okay. Can I just say, it's a little bit inconsistent how like the books and movies are named. I mean, like, Dr. No, and then Thunderball,
and
then
Octopussy.
Oh God, Octopussy, it's coming.
It's coming.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service, From Russia with Love. Like it's there's not really a consistency with the names.
No, it seems like the most common thing, if you had to pick a theme of the names, is Fleming seems to like these phrases, like some idiomatic phrase, and he likes to give it a twist. Like, you only live twice. It's like, you only live once, but it's actually twice. Live and let die. It's like live and let live, but it's live and let die. Yeah.
And then there's just things that like could theoretically be the names of like special ops operations.
Yeah, like operations, like GoldenEye and stuff. Goldfinger, like the first movie, is named after a guy.
Did he have a Goldfinger?
No.
Was it like that Swedish guy, that king from 1 million years ago who had a Bluetooth, and now that's why we call it Bluetooth?
He was Danish.
Sure.
Although that didn't really matter. He was from what we would now call Denmark. Wow, this is lame. Anyway.
Hey, man, this is a learning podcast. It's not just pop culture. It's also educational.
I mean, it's kind of pop culture.
We try and work in one random fact to each episode.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, did you know that sharks were around before the North Star? Fun fact.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you hated sharks from the last episode.
I don't hate sharks. I just don't, they're not my favorite of fish.
All right.
It's like I don't hate turtles. I just don't ever want to be near them.
Yeah, turtles traumatized you as a kid.
We'll get there, maybe.
Yeah, one day we'll talk about that. Anyway, so this time, they brought a lot of the production crew back once again. They actually got Ken Adam back.
Yes, I saw that. He worked on several other of the James Bond movies.
He absolutely worked on this one after doing Doctor Strangelove.
And Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
And Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. We'll get to Chitty Chitty Bang Bang in a moment.
I'm sorry, is it haunting this one too?
It's haunting this one too.
Yes! I'm so excited.
But the one big guy they didn't get is they didn't get the director. Terrence Young, who directed the first two, chose to film a completely different movie, a movie I've never heard of called the, quote, Amorous Adventures of Moll Flanders.
That sounds like we have to watch it.
We probably do.
That sounds like some 1960s like pulp sci-fi book.
Yeah. Basically, he was denied a percentage of the film profits from the second, I think it was from the first two, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. That essentially caused him to, he didn't make as much money as he thought he deserved.
Sure.
So he walked out, and so they picked a different guy. They picked Guy Hamilton. Guy Hamilton was the guy
They picked a different guy. Hamilton.
Yes, Guy Hamilton. Apparently, they asked Guy Hamilton to do the first one, and he turned it down. So this was kind of them thinking like, let's get...
well, now we can get him because we've got a little prestige and a slightly bigger budget.
Yes, we've got success, obvious success that we are setting up here.
It's kind of interesting that Terrence Young walked away because he didn't get like a percentage, because that's not really a thing that like directors got a lot. Because like I know that it was a really big thing when George Lucas basically got the rights to all of like the Star Wars merchandise.
Yeah.
Like that was not really a thing that directors got, and then like that's kind of how he made all of his money, is by selling $1 million, billion, trillion worth of toys and shirts and cups.
You're not wrong, and I think it had more to do with the fact that it was such a surprise success.
Sure.
That those movies did so much better than they were expecting, that it was sort of like a, hey, like I just made you millions and millions of dollars, like I should get a bigger cut.
Yeah,
like,
I deserve a little bit more of this.
Mm-hmm. And he does come back for the next one, so they must have figured it out somehow. But for now, we've got Guy Hamilton. A couple of fairly big actors in this one. The first one is Honor Blackman. Honor Blackman, she was in the show The Avengers, the TV show.
Yeah.
So she's kind of the main Bond girl in this movie, and she's actually like an actress. And
oh, did she get to dub herself?
Yeah, she actually, she's not going to have her voice overdubbed like all the other Bond girls have in the other previous movies. She was also in Jason and the Argonauts. Yeah. She was Hera.
Uh-huh.
And she was in the 2001 Bridget Jones's Diary.
Okay.
Yeah. She's been in a lot.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, if she's been acting since, the 60s.
Yes, absolutely. And she's done stage and stuff too. She's really, really good. The main villain, Auric Goldfinger, is being played by a German actor by the name, I'm going to pronounce this as best as I can because I did a little bit of German, is Karl Gerhard Gert Fröbe.
That's a mouthful of a name.
Yes. Gert is being his, nickname.
Right.
He is also known for playing Baron Bombburst in...
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang!
Yeah!
Hell yeah! Look, man, we're going to make it happen. If we have to 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon this, all of the movies are going to come back to Chitty Chitty Bang Bang somehow. I will hunt this down if I need to.
Yep. Now here's the bad news. He was a member of the Nazi Party.
Oh, no. Never mind. Joy retracted.
To be fair, he joined it in the 1920s when he was 16, and then he left it before the most of World War II happened.
Oh, okay.
So, he was one of those dudes. Apparently, he also...
An angry young man who was later like, hey, this is not actually the source of my problems.
Apparently, he also did help Jewish folks escape and survive.
Oh.
So, he did some cool stuff, too.
Sure, yeah,
cool. This is not in any way trying to, attack him. It's just...
Right,
This is a whole story about, where he was.
People are complex, and hey, it turns out that there's sometimes nuance to some of these things.
Yeah, a little bit. Kind of sucks, if I'm being honest. But at the same time, he seemed like, he learned his lesson and tried to fix it.
Yeah.
This sucks.
Hey, guys, it's always okay to walk away from Nazis.
Yes, always. But he's kind of the big villain in this movie. We'll talk about some of the other actors later on. A few coming back, obviously. Lois Maxwell as Miss Moneypenny, Desmond Llewellyn is back as Q, Bernard Lee as M, and a few new faces as well, which we will talk about.
Is this the one that you know a bunch about the songs? or?
Well, so yes, actually, to a certain extent, the opening sequence for this is perhaps one of the most famous opening credit sequences.
Is it projected over a lady?
Yes.
Oh no.
I'm sorry.
All right, strap in, folks.
Yeah, it just is. But it also includes the title track, Goldfinger, which was performed by Shirley Bassey. Shirley Bassey, a Welsh vocal artist.
I feel like I know that name.
I mean, she's done a lot. She had a couple of hits back in the day. She did like pop and jazz and that sort of thing.
Sure.
She does another two actually James Bond themes after this one, but Goldfinger is typically considered like the best one.
Peak.
Yes, and like the Grammy, it was like in the Grammy Hall of Fame. You know, like
oh dang,
yeah,
cool.
this performance is very well respected and received, and she was just a fantastic like voice. She deserves her laurels for this. Absolutely. Yes. Interestingly, one of the guys playing on the song is a young British lad named Jimmy Page, who would later on form the Led Zeppelin band that some people are just talking about. You know, I keep hearing about this Led Zeppelin band. And boy, oh boy, they're going to go places, I think.
Those nice young Led Zeppelin guys.
Mm-hmm. But to tell you how important the Goldfinger theme is, even without talking about the movie, AFI had 100 songs, like 100 film songs, and it was number 53 on that list.
Damn.
Yeah. It was, like I said, it was in the Grammy Hall of Fame. It was a top 40 hit. It peaked in the top 10. Like, it was not just like, oh, important for a film. This was a big musical hit. It was written by a couple of guys, John Barry, Leslie Bricusse, and Anthony Newley. All three of those guys were fairly well-known songwriters at the time. You know, they did a lot of work, and this ended up being kind of a big thing. Apparently, John Paul Jones also might have been on here too. The other guy from Led Zeppelin. Kind of crazy. Although it's funny because apparently Harry Saltzman, one of the producers, hated it. Thought it was dumb. Did not like the song, but obviously he was
wrong.
He was wrong. Sometimes people are just wrong.
Well, you're not wrong if you don't like a thing, but like if you were like, I hate this thing and therefore this thing cannot be popular, that's when you're wrong.
Yeah. He wanted it off the movie because he thought, my God, it's so bad. We'll talk about a few things a little bit later on. One of the big things for this movie is that, as I said, the budget was increased, and this was the first one that was probably aimed squarely at the American audience.
Oh.
So the first one took place in Jamaica, which was part of the British Empire, but
sure,
you know, it was near America, and it has some American like characters that are sort of involved.
Right, yeah.
From Russia with Love basically has nothing to do with America.
No.
You know, it's the Cold War generally.
Yeah, it's all either like British operatives or
Turkish
or Russian operatives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And that American guy, what's his face, is not in it at all.
No. Goldfinger, on the other hand, takes place almost entirely in the United States.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be in Florida. It's going to be in Kentucky. It's going to be in a couple places. Yes.
Oh, is it because Fort Knox?
Yes, they go to Fort Knox.
Okay.
Yeah. Gold.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think that was a conscious choice. I think they made that decision.
Well, yeah, I mean, no offense to our British friends, but like America is a much larger audience as far as movies go.
That's true. Especially
you can make more money here.
Yeah.
It's like how now there's a bunch of stuff that is edited out or censored from movies so that it can play in China.
Yeah, they do that a lot now.
Yep.
Yeah,
they'll make movies so that they can edit around certain parts and and
they film extra scenes that are in different versions. Yeah,
played in the Chinese theaters.
Well, anyway,
anywhoozleby.
Let's watch this movie, which some call the first real James Bond movie.
What the fuck have we been doing for the last hours?
Hannah, you got me. I'm just telling you what people say.
You mean we could have started here? No, we needed the context of the other ones.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway.
All right. Goldfinger.
It's such a sunny day. Such a sunny day. Such a sunny day to waste away.
All right. Welcome back.
Okay, so I have thoughts.
Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts first.
I think it was the most entertaining of the ones that we have seen so far. It was also the dumbest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, you're totally right.
And if Goldfinger is your favorite Bonds movie, I need you to know, I don't think you're dumb. I don't think you're dumb if you like this movie. It's totally fine to love and enjoy something, even though it's a little bit dumb. That's why Star Wars has made $1 billion.
It's true.
So I'm going to spend quite a lot of time pointing out some of the dumb things and the plot holes. And like, if you, I don't know, if you can't handle that, skip forward, I guess. Trigger warning for being upset when someone calls something you like dumb. But also, hey, maybe think about this for a second.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay, so quick plot rundown.
Yes, quick plot rundown.
We open anonymous place, vaguely tropical because there's like a palm tree in the background.
Oh yeah, and you know, Bond does the classic. He's in the swimsuit with the tuxedo underneath. Yeah,
he's got a seagull on his head.
The seagull on his head is quite good.
That's my favorite part of the whole movie.
It's all downhill from there.
Yeah, he gets out. He's clearly got like some little mission that he's doing for somebody. Extreme question mark if it's actually been assigned to him by MI6.
Well, so I think this movie was the first one. So From Russia with Love, they had the cold open. This one, they did the first of the cold opens that you're going to see going forward, where typically it's like an unrelated mission from the rest of it.
Yeah,
that tends to be how it goes from now on.
Yeah, just to show that like this is a thing that he does a lot. Like,
yeah, he's busy.
He does spy shit all of the time.
Yes, absolutely.
So he gets to some place, some manufacturing place. There's a secret door. He goes in the secret door. Oh my god, there's poppy opium seeds in like the poppy pods where you get opium from in like the foreground. He blows the whole thing up, and then he goes to a bar somewhere, and like, well, okay, so he goes to the bar and then the whole thing blows up.
Yes.
And then everybody freaks out and leaves, and he like has some contact there that he's talking to.
Yes.
And the contact specifically tells him, don't go back to the hotel. And Jameson Bondi goes back to the hotel.
He doesn't go back to the hotel. He goes to the girls' room.
It's a hotel. It's the hotel, though.
I don't think it is.
It is, because he has her key, and that was a hotel key.
Okay, maybe.
So anyway,
So
and like obviously this girl was in on some amount of something, because there's a guy in the room waiting for Bond, and like he attacks her, he attacks Bond, but like Bond whips the girl around so she gets kiboshed in the head. And
yeah, I will absolutely say, before you say it, I'll be the first to say it. This is the cruelest to women of the three so far.
Oh yes, absolutely.
It's pretty. I have not seen Goldfinger in a while. I watched it a bunch of times when I was a kid. And as a kid, I knew it was, like, not nice to women, but I was like, it was a movie from 50, 60 years ago, you know, like, that's how it was.
Yeah.
Watching it now, I'm very much like, wow, this is truly reprehensible in lots of ways.
None of the James Bond movies are particularly interested in the interior lives of women or, like, making them people. This one does, I think, the best job of making Pussy Galore, good lord name, an actual character, but at the end of the day it does not care about her.
The Masterson sisters, you know, it's like they're not treated well, but like, you know, the second one's like he killed my sister, so I want to get revenge on him. Yeah, you know, which is like a reasonable human response, like something that someone might do.
Sure.
And she's not doing it in like I'm gonna get a man to help me. She's like, I'm gonna shoot
this
him
guy
myself. Yeah. She's not successful.
Someone needs to take this man out, and I have a gun, so it's gonna be me.
Yes. Sorry, we skipped a couple of steps.
Right. So James Bond has finished this assignment, and he goes to vacation in beautiful sunny Miami. Sandals Resort, probably not. I don't know where
something like that. Yeah, and
it's not quite as bad as like some of the Sandler movies for like, look at this glorious resort. But there were some like several sweeping shots of white sandy beaches and glorious luxurious pools.
Yes.
Even that bit where you can go under the pool and look through the glass window and see the lovely bikini ladies.
And they have
by.
the ice skating rink inside too.
Roller skating, but yes.
Oh, was it roller?
It was roller skating.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, he's on vacation. But no, he's not because what's his face?
Felix Leiter shows up. Played by yet another actor.
A different guy. He shows up and he's like, M has a thing that you need to do. Here's a guy. His name is Goldfinger. Go observe him.
He's here.
He's directly over there. We need you to keep an eye on him. And once again, James Ewell Bondimus takes it upon himself to not observe this man, but to break into his hotel room and interact with the hot lady that he has there.
Yes.
Buddy, all you had to do was watch. Yeah.
No.
Jen's death is directly on your shoulders, my guy.
Absolutely. No, I think...
Had you not gotten involved with this woman, she wouldn't be dead.
I think if the movie were made today, and it was more interested in kind of what we would consider like modern storytelling, James Bond would hook up with this woman who he like helped him, mess with Goldfinger, and then she would be killed, and then he would be haunted.
Yeah.
And he would have to struggle with that, and then...
Oh, now it's personal because, you killed someone that I've interacted with who was a person to me, except we don't do that because she's not a person to him.
No, this is 1964.
And women aren't people. They're things to have sex at.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
And maybe do judo with.
Yeah, so he messes with Goldfinger playing a card game.
Yep.
And then, lures his hot bikini babe away.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, there are 3 blonde women in this movie. I couldn't tell them apart. They all looked exactly...
There are more than 3, but yes. The 3 main ones
The 3 named ones.
Yes, you're absolutely correct.
Lures her away to his hotel room. And they hook up. And then as he's going to go get more champagne, a minion breaks into his room, karate chops him in the head and knocks him out, and then kills... That's Jen, right?
Jill, yes.
Yeah, kills Jill by painting her gold. And apparently, if you paint someone completely in gold and don't leave a small patch by the base of their spine to let their skin breathe, they'll suffocate to death. Hey, quick question. How the fuck long does that take?
Well... it doesn't, because that
doesn't happen.
The Mythbusters did the
yeah.
And what they determined was that it makes you very uncomfortable and you sweat a lot and it's bad, but you probably won't.
You're not gonna
die.
You don't. First of all, you don't breathe through your skin, so she still would have been breathing regular oxygen. So if he had painted her gold and that was supposed to kill her, she would have had up to, I don't know, at least 10 minutes to figure some fucking thing out.
I wouldn't say it's a plot hole necessarily. It's just
kind of dumb.
It's just not real.
Yeah.
It's just a fake thing. It's a fake thing.
So dumb thing that annoyed me, number one.
It would have been better to say she was poisoned and then he painted her gold as a warning. To you.
Because he marks his women.
Yeah.
That would have made more sense.
That would have been better, but no, the idea is no, he painted her gold and that's how she
killed her.
Died.
Even just I don't know, no, okay, that's a bit too gruesome for 1960. What is this? 64. I was thinking do the gold crown kind of thing where they pour boiling gold, but that would have been it would have been more effective and more real life, but it would have been far too gruesome for this movie.
Yeah.
In a movie where there's not even really blood squibs.
Sure.
So it's not personal. James Bond doesn't care about this woman, but he's I gotta go get Goldfinger.
Mm-hmm.
What happens next?
Okay.
Oh, he has to go. He goes back to England.
He goes back to England. He gets his mission more officially. He talks to Q. He gets the gadgets. He gets the car.
There weren't a whole lot of extra gadgets aside from the car, and then they blew the whole carload in one scene.
They did blow the whole carload in one scene.
And there wasn't anything else with it, and so there were no other fun gadgets. A little bit disappointing to me personally.
You know what? I agree. The car part stuff was cool, but it was gone by halfway through the movie. You're totally right. He then goes to Switzerland.
Some classic spy shit.
Oh, no, sorry. He doesn't go to Switzerland yet. He plays golf.
Yeah, first he plays golf.
And that begins a trend where James Bond plays a game with the villains in pretty much every movie. It's kind of a recurring gag that they do. that's how they sort of meet each other. They get the size up and everything, and we learn that Goldfinger cheats. That's the thing. He has to win. He's like a small, petty man who has to win in everything. That's kind of, I think, the thing that we're getting from him.
Sorry, you just reminded me of a line from the cold open where like the dancer lady from the bar, like she makes a remark that he's got the gun on him, and she's like, "Why do you always carry that thing?" And he's like, "What was it?" He said something about like feelings of inadequacy.
Yeah, he's got a inferiority complex.
That's what it is. Yeah.
So then after that, they go to Switzerland, and in Switzerland, Tilly Masterson, Jill's sister, tries to kill Goldfinger, but nearly shoots James Bond because she's a bad shot.
Yeah, there's a bit of a car chase, and it looks like for a second Tilly is working with Goldfinger, because it looks like she's trying to run him off the road, and then it looks like she's trying to shoot him, but the whole time she's just trying to get closer to Goldfinger so that she can shoot him as revenge for murdering her sister.
Yes, and in this sort of whole thing, we learn how Goldfinger is smuggling all the gold that James Bond is being told to figure out.
Right.
He's like plating his car with it, and then he takes the car, and then he like has the car dismantled and melted down and recast.
It's like
gold.
the smuggling wheelbarrows riddle. Do you ever hear that one?
It's kind of like that. Yeah, he goes to the place in Switzerland. They capture him because he's
not a very good spy.
he didn't do a great job. He almost gets cut in half by the laser. After that, they take him to Kentucky, where
on the plane is where he first meets Pussy Galore. Okay, so like Pussy, accent Dante, bitch, is an actual name. Pussy, it's not clever.
No, it's not.
And Pussy Galore, it's also not clever.
Can I just say
what?
That's probably not the dumbest name that a Bond girl has.
Well, are we getting to Octopussy too?
Trust me, we'll get there. I keep saying that a lot. We'll get there.
I mean, we've got how many movies to watch?
We've got 22 more.
Yeah.
Think about that. One day, we'll have seen all of the James Bond movies, and then we'll be dead. It's just how it goes.
Don't curse us like that.
I didn't say it would happen immediately. It's just the forward,
at some point in the future.
The forward march of time. One day we will be dust.
So what you're saying is we can't die as long as we don't watch the last Bond movie.
Hey, you know what the last one's called?
It's
called No Time to Die.
Oh.
Death is in a lot of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, he gets there.
So we
he
Pussy
learns
Galore.
of the plan.
Whoa. So we meet Pussy Galore on the plane. She is like a pilot. And this is where I was like, oh, we're going to have like an interesting female character, because she has a specific interest. She wants to get paid. She's not super like scrupulous about how she makes money, but she is a pilot. She's a very accomplished pilot.
Yes.
We see her fly like 3 or 4 different planes and a helicopter.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, huzzah, finally a woman who was like interesting. And then about halfway through her screen times, she stops being a person and is just like a paper doll that they shoved on screen.
So we learn about Operation Grand Slam.
We hear the words Operation Grand Slam.
And we see him explain the plan to the mafia.
Oh yeah, in Kentucky.
That he works with. And, he's going to break into Fort Knox, and he's going to, quote-unquote, steal the gold. Turns out he just kills all the mafia guys. I don't understand why he put a show on to tell them what he's going to do if he was just going to kill all of them.
Yeah.
That doesn't really make any sense.
Dumb thing about this movie number 2.
Yeah.
He gets all of these mafia guys here, and they're all like heads of various mafia families from literally all across the country. It's West Coast to East Coast. It's everybody. So it is the head of all of these mafia families, right?
Yeah.
And then he puts on a little show saying what he's going to do. And like, that could be like, oh, he's like a petty man. He needs people to think that he's like cool and smart, and he's going to like do this great crime, right? And he says, hey, if you don't want to be involved with this, you can leave. And so one guy's like, I would like to leave with my $1 million, please. So then he kills all of the mafia heads, and then he also kills the guy who left. What the fuck was the point of any of that?
Yeah, it really doesn't...
Dumb thing about this movie number 2.
It does not really... Yeah, you have to wonder what his plan there was, because initially I was thinking, oh, is he gonna like ask them for help? Does he need their help? And then
he already got all of their help.
And then and then you think, oh, like he's actually working with the one guy and he's killing the rest of them, and that's like a thing. And then no, he kills him too.
He kills that guy too.
And then it feels really dumb and unnecessary.
Yeah.
That I would actually say is a plot contrivance that doesn't really work at all. You're sort of not supposed to think about that one. I think you're supposed to just kind of let that one go.
It's probably just to be sort of like, oh, he doesn't care. He doesn't value any amount of human life.
Sure.
He'll kill. It doesn't, and like he doesn't care. It doesn't matter. And like there's their line that Bond says before he walks into the barn, right before he rapes her, where he's like, he's quite mad,
He's quite mad, By the way, getting there.
Yeah.
So James Bond writes down the plan, puts it in the pocket of that mafia guy.
And then that mafia guy gets crushed, and it doesn't matter because they don't get the note.
He gets crushed into a cube, and they don't get the note. Which, that I kind of liked. I liked that, like, he did the thing, and then they crushed him into the cube anyway, and it was like, oh shit, like, my plan's ruined.
Also, okay, in this, like, dumb thing number 2, subplot, dumb thing number 2A, he, like, actually gives him $1 million in, like, gold bullion.
Yeah.
And then that's still in the trunk of the car when they crush it up. And so they bring this cube car back to the horse ranch. And he's just like, now, excuse me, I have to extract my gold from this. What the fuck? You could have given him fake gold. You were going to kill him. It didn't matter.
Or you could have shot him, taken the gold out, crushed the car, and just not had to deal with the extraction process.
Yeah.
Because you're going to lose a certain amount.
Right.
You have to, by just the fact you already shot him. Just drive back home with the car. What's the deal? Anyway.
You already have the truck.
You already have the truck.
Just put the gold in the truck before you crush the car.
Yeah. I think it was just, we got another shot that we can do. It's brutal and gruesome, and it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. And then, he and Pussy Galore go into a barn.
Into a barn where they
and
talk.
they do judo against each other a little bit.
There is one cute little, like, sped up moment where, like, he flips her and, like, there's clearly, like, a little bit of speed play going on. That's fun.
Yeah. And then,
And then he gets on top of her and she's clearly pushing him off and he keeps pushing down and then she doesn't say yes and he just kisses her.
Yeah. It's, again, one of those things where we obviously would look at that and go, this is fucking atrocious. But in the 60s, they were like, that's just normal.
Yeah.
That's just normal things that happen. Don't worry about it.
If she's not clawing his face off, it doesn't count as rape.
Well, she eventually hugged him, so obviously
that means that she wanted it.
Yeah.
Gross.
And
I'm going to throw up.
And then we see the Operation Grand Slam go off without a hitch. And I think as moviegoers, we are supposed to go, oh no, James Bond, he's lost. And then it turned out
I was going back and forth a little bit as I was watching of being like, is this going to be the Bond movie with the highest body count? Because they killed, like, it's like they said it was like 41,000 soldiers and then also a bunch of people in town. I'm like, they can't do that in 64. They can't do that.
No, and we see all that. It's like, wow, this is crazy. And it turns out, plot twist. Apparently, the dick was so good that Pussy Galore called Washington and said, "Hey, here's Goldfinger's plan." I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what?
And then in like 6 hours, they got together and coordinated 41,000 soldiers and also a bunch of people in town to like fall down and pretend to be dead.
All right, company, listen up. When the plane flies overhead, go bleh.
Fall down, but make sure you hold on to your rifles. Them shits are expensive.
Also,
and if it goes down with
townsfolk, regular townsfolk who aren't in the army. When the plane flies over, fall down and go. Like,
could you imagine trying to? Okay, look, someone is trying to break into Fort Knox, and we need them to think that their plan is going correct. So when you hear the plane, you need to fall down and go bleh. And like, fucking no! A bunch of people would leave.
Yeah,
like,
there
would be panic in the streets.
Yeah. It's completely ridiculous. It
is also like I praised previous Bond movies
yes.
for like, showing the hair on the door.
Yes.
I don't like that there was no amount of setup for Pussy Galore like doing a face turn.
Yeah.
Like it was 100% just the last that we see her, she's in the barn. Like that's it. And then she's decided that she's on the good guys team now. I don't like that.
I know it feels really out of nowhere. Like it doesn't. We don't get any.
There's like James Bond movies have been really good with planting and payoff. They've been really good with like the setup and then the delivery, and there's no setup for that.
No. And we don't get enough about her background. We don't get enough about her motivations. You know, it seems like she's a private person. She's like, I want to live in the Bahamas, and I want nobody to bother me.
Yeah,
and
I'm not interested in you very rich man. I don't want you to touch me.
Yeah.
I just want a bunch of money and probably to fly planes.
Yeah, and great. Like, that's cool. But if we understood her motivations a little bit better when she does the switch, that might make more sense.
Yeah,
but we don't. It does. None of that is ever. You know,
if it had been any amount of like, oh, I need a lot of money because like my little sister is very sick and I need the money.
I need
like,
to pay the operation.
Yeah, I need money to like pay for her treatment, and then James Bond could be like, well, there are other options for that.
Yeah.
Her Majesty's healthcare has some of the best doctors on the planet.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I have heard this is. I don't know if there are any plans for this, but I have heard some people say that what James Bond movies should be now is instead of making new James Bond movies, they should basically like remake the old ones, like give them a modern kind of like fresh coat of paint. You could absolutely do Goldfinger and do it better is subjective, but you could do it in a way that you can fix a lot of that kind of stuff.
And okay, I want you to understand, I had a lot of fun watching this movie. I'm critiquing it pretty hard, but like there were some very fun things that happened.
Yeah.
And you know, especially with like some of the classic spy shit, like, you know, seeing like the genesis of like somebody being strapped down and a giant laser being pointed at them.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. Classic line.
So good.
Yeah. I think Gert, the guy who plays Goldfinger there, I think he's excellent.
Oh yeah,
he does a great job. Goldfinger,
he's having fun.
Yes, Goldfinger feels like a good villain. He's a shithead from day one. He's a bad guy. He doesn't treat anybody nicely, and like we're supposed to root for Bond. Bond is also a shithead, but you know.
He's a shithead for Her Majesty.
Yes, but you can watch Goldfinger and go, oh, this guy sucks. This guy really sucks. I hope he loses, because he sucks.
I'm really happy watching him get thrown around the gold vault in Fort Knox.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Oh, you mean Oddjob fighting James Bond?
Yeah, Oddjob picking him up and bodily hurling him across the floor.
It's a great fight scene, because never once during that fight does James have the upper hand.
No, it's so good.
He is losing that fight so bad, and he only really wins because Oddjob makes a big tactical error.
Yeah.
You know, it's like he picks up a weapon and he just breaks it.
He pulls up like a fucking like 2x4, like a giant wooden 2x4 out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
And then Oddjob just like karate chops right through it.
Yeah. But we find out that Goldfinger...
Or Taekwondo chops, I suppose, because he's Korean.
We find out that Goldfinger's plan is not to steal the gold, it is to irradiate the gold.
Which, okay, hey, dumb thing number 3. Why the fuck would that affect the price of the gold? It's the gold is still there. It's still in Fort Knox.
So there's
nobody's getting to it. Nobody can take it away.
So I think
why would it affect the price?
I agree completely. I think that there's a problem with that. I also think that there's a problem. You know, they say, oh, it's going to be irradiated for 58 years. It's like, okay, well, then you have to bank on the idea that the United States won't exist in 58 years, which, you know, maybe you might think that, but there's no strong guarantee of that. You know, like, it seems like most of and also, the United States was not on the gold standard.
I was going to say, I literally just Googled it. March 1933 was when we got off the gold standard.
So, you know, they weren't... I'm not saying it wouldn't have an effect, but I don't think it would have the effect that Auric is sort of planning on.
Yeah, because his whole plan is to, like, make... like the American gold deposit worthless so that his gold is now worth more. However, that doesn't quite fit with the character that we have been shown, because his whole thing is just he wants more gold because he loves gold. He loves the luster. He loves the weight. He loves the color of it. So, like, he just wants more gold. We've never been told that his point is to have money, to have value. It's to have a lot of gold. So...
But he also likes to win.
He does like to win.
He's also, interestingly, the first of the bad guys who does not seem to be involved with Spectre at all.
Yeah, there was no mention of Spectre this whole time.
Yeah. I don't know if that's from the book. I don't know if that's how that is, but, like, very easily it could have been like, oh, yeah, he's working with Spectre. That's it. He didn't even have to be part of Spectre. He could have just been like he's working with them or whatever. So the fact that he's kind of just not involved, he's just some random rogue agent. I think some people like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I do, because it makes the whole proceedings feel a little pointless.
I don't know. I kind of like it in the idea that, like, there's kind of a feeling of there are a set number of bad actors in the world, and if we get rid of the bad actors, everything will be fine. So, like, if we just eliminate Spectre, everything will be fine, except that no, it won't, because here's this shithead who wants to irradiate the gold supply of the U.S. to make it worthless. Again, I don't think it would work like that.
I don't think it would work that way, but, you got to suspend your disbelief a little bit. You got to say, okay, the movie is making a point, and I guess, depending on the bomb too, like, it could destroy some of it. Like, it wouldn't destroy all of it, it would irradiate, but, it could destroy some of it, and so it's like, okay, I don't know. I'm not a scientist on this, but it does seem interesting. Apparently in the book, the plot was a little bit different, but it actually, like, made less sense in the book, and so the movie actually, like, made it better. That's my understanding of that. But okay, so that's
classic spy shit.
Yeah.
So, like, there's the strapped to a table laser.
Oh yeah.
Then, like, all of the car gadgets, those were all super fun. Smoke screen.
Ejector seat.
Oh my god.
Classic. I love how it goes like 10 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Like modern, it would have like a rocket and it would shoot way up.
And like there might be even be like a parachute
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that one is shoot him 10 feet above.
It's like a spring. He just goes, wow.
Yeah, just boink.
Machine gun in the headlights.
Yeah, classic. Oil slick.
Yeah.
Smoke screen.
James Bond needlessly gets Tilly Masterson killed.
Yeah, God.
Again, okay, I feel like you might think that I'm harping on this, but, like, these movies do not care about the interior lives of women, and, like, these women are barely characters. Like, even Agent Romanoff in the second one, like, she's like a cryptographer, right? She works on the cyber machine. And so, like, when we first meet her, she's all like, I swear to Mother Russia that I'm going to complete this for the motherland and all that kind of stuff. And then, like, by the end, when they're on the train, she's just like, ooh, pretty dresses. Look at me. I'm so pretty. James Bond, please look at me. I'm so pretty. And then she's just not an interesting person for the rest of the movie. Yeah,
it is very clear that at this point in history, second wave feminism had not happened yet.
No.
It's about to. It's about to get kicked off in the late 60s. That's when it really starts to come. But, like, right now, boy, is it is just not a cultural force to, like, have women be portrayed complexly in most things. Now, I'm not saying that complex presentations of women did not exist. They certainly did.
Sure.
But it was not normal for a movie, especially like a big action blockbuster like this, to show women complexly.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it doesn't really have much nice to say about the guys either.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
This is a terrible, terrible example of masculinity.
Yeah.
James Bond, like, fucks and kills his way through most things, and he's pretty dumb.
Yeah. I will say, I think at the time people understood that to a certain extent, but I think they were much more like, yeah, it's a dumb movie, who cares? Like, I think we would think now, like, no, that's important. Like, we should, have representation, and we should have our art and our entertainment sort of reflect our values somewhat. I don't think people felt the same way in the 60s. Let me just kind of give you a general overview of the reception of this movie.
Go for it.
Generally speaking, this movie was very well received. It got, even at the time, mostly very good reviews.
I can see that. It is quite a bit faster than the other movies. It's roughly the same length as From Russia with Love, right?
It's about, let's see, Dr. No was 109 minutes, From Russia with Love was 115, this was 110 minutes. So it's, right about the same length. Yeah.
I never felt like, oh my god, when is this movie going to end?
Yeah, no, it's got a zippy pace.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure someone said that From Russia with Love was directed at a zingy pace, which no, it's not. This one is.
This one is, yes. And I think people really 100% felt that with this movie.
Yeah.
Obviously some people still had the same sort of moral gripes with it, but people enjoyed the vibe and the feel and the motion of it in a way that they didn't for the first two in a lot of ways.
Sure.
I think This was the first movie to win an Academy Award.
Oh, really?
First
What did
James
one
Bond
for?
movie. I will actually explain that when we talk a little bit more about the actors.
Okay.
Because it specifically revolves around one of the actors. It wasn't an acting award, but it revolves around something that they did for him, which I think is interesting. But the reception for it at the time was really good, and to this day it remains one of the best ones as far as, reception. As I said, the James Bond tomato meter for Rotten Tomatoes has it as almost perfect, which puts it number 1, and for audience score it puts it at number 2.
Oh, nice.
Like, it's generally considered to be, if not the best, certainly the most. This was the template that all the other James Bond movies tried to follow, and it was hugely successful. Can I just share?
Yeah, go for it.
First movie made $60 million on a $1 million budget. Second movie made almost $79 million on a $2 million budget. Any guesses as to what this pulled in with a $3 million budget?
80 plus.
$125 million.
Seriously?
It did massive.
So this is like the most profitable Bond movie thus far.
There are two that are arguably more.
I mean, thus far. But
yeah, this one is definitely the one thus far. This one was hugely successful in a lot of ways. I think the first one that people really understood that, like, oh, this is a major pop culture force. This isn't like a fun couple of movies that people are really enjoying. This is like, oh, this is a big deal. People are really into this.
Well, that's interesting too, because like, at the time there wouldn't have been a lot. Well, maybe there would have. Like, I was trying to think, would you have been able to see the previous Bond movies like at your local cinema before this one came out, or was it a thing where like it came out and then it was gone and like you weren't going to catch it until they invented cable television?
I don't know. Actually, that's an interesting question. I have to imagine that you would have been able to see Dr. No and From Russia with Love the same way you would have been able to see most other like fairly popular movies at the time. This one, that it blew it out of the water. It made more than double what Dr. No did.
Oh yeah,
and that's huge. That's a crazy amount of money. If you adjust for inflation, I believe. Let's see here. Yeah, if you adjust for inflation, this made the third most money of any James Bond movie.
Damn.
So, like, that's crazy. Adjusting for inflation, this made the third most, and adjusting for inflation, it cost less than like all except for the first few. Like,
yeah.
They were not spending nearly the amount that they do now on movies, and it made so much.
And honestly, like that budget shows they crushed that really nice car.
They did. You can definitely see it, and the action sequences are great.
There's just like a bunch of horses in the background. They're never like plot relevant. They're just there.
Yeah, the sets are really elaborate and big. I think I mentioned that they designed the interior of Fort Knox, and apparently like some people involved in the government like contacted them and were like, hey, how did you know what it looks like in there? And they were, or like, how did you film in Fort Knox? And they were like, we didn't, we just kind of
built a set.
People apparently thought that they actually filmed in Fort Knox, and they were actually kind of upset. They were like, oh, our tax dollars and stuff. They're like, no, that didn't happen. We promise you that didn't happen.
We built a set.
We built a really good set.
Oddjob had to throw them into very specific places, because if you threw them anywhere else, the whole thing would have collapsed.
Yeah.
Made out of pasteboard and tinfoil.
Well, it looked great.
It really did.
Yeah.
So Penelope Gillette, who is fast becoming my favorite of the Bond reviewers
Honestly,
at the time.
I just want you to read her reviews from now on for all of the movies. Like, I hope she did all of them.
I hope so. She said that the film had a spoofing callousness and that it was absurd, funny, and vile.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I like this from The Guardian, 2 hours of unmissable fantasy, which, like, they did get a little bit more sci-fi with some of the tech, especially with, like, there's the tracker and then the car, and then also the car some fucking how has maps inside the screen.
Yeah, that was like a GPS system.
Yeah.
Like, they did not have
with
that at the time.
Updatable maps.
Yeah, that's a crazy high level of tech. I will say, I think that's Guy Hamilton. I think that's the director. Terrence Young, I said, was kind of a little more down to earth and realistic. Guy Hamilton, I think he really pushes this sort of a little bit more elevated reality. And he even said that he wanted the villains to seem more powerful. That he felt that in the first two movies, Bond was just, he walked in and he was just better than everybody. And so he, in this one, wanted Bond to get his ass kicked a little bit. He wanted to kind of have some things go wrong for him. And
boy, did they.
Yeah, they absolutely did. He basically was captured for 70% of the movie.
I also, so from the same Guardian as the 2 Hours of Unmissable Fantasy,
Yes.
that same review, they also said the most exciting, the most extravagant of the Bond films, garbage from the gods.
Garbage from the gods.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I think that there is some sentiment that classic films, they're a little bit like untouchable, uncritiquable.
Yeah.
But I want you, if you like James Bond movies, and especially if this is one of your favorite James Bond movies, I need you to know that, like, at the time, people were calling them garbage from the gods. It's okay to like the movie.
Yeah.
It's totally fine to like the movie, but like it's not necessarily the most clever, like the best movie that was ever been made.
It's not high art.
It's not high art.
It's really not. I'm going to say this now. I think that aside from the Daniel Craig movies, I really don't think that you can take these movies as anything other than dumb fun. And I'm saying that as a fan.
Yeah.
I am saying that as a fan. The Daniel Craig movies, whether you like them or not, they are trying to be more serious. They are trying to be more like tell like an emotional story. They're trying
it was
to be,
like the 2000s and the 2010s gritty
reality reboot kind of thing. Like, you know, but even those movies have their own sections of dumb fun. But there's jokes being thrown around. There's you know, puns and lines and characters with ridiculous names and sci-fi gadgets and things like that. And on top of all of that, it's trash. Like, it's basically like, this is unbelievable, ridiculous nonsense. And if you just enjoy it like that, like, I think James Bond movies should be viewed kind of in the same way. I'm trying to think of a modern example. It's really hard to, because everything nowadays, we take everything so fucking seriously.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you know, like the earlier Disney Marvel movies, but there are so many people who are like there are so many people who got goddamn offended when Scorsese said that, like, they're not art or they're not cinema.
I mean, yes, I would be offended if he said they're not cinema, but that's not. They are cinema, but and it is art in a way. Scorsese annoys me because I feel like he contradicts himself on that. He sort of says, like, Marvel movies aren't art. You know what is art? My thing that I do, and, you know,
my 200-minute long sad movie about some guy who fucks his whole life up,
who also does not really have much interest in the interior lives of women. Yeah, like, absolutely. That's a thing that has been levied at Scorsese, and I think is largely correct. You know,
yeah,
his movies are about guys and dudes and being dude guys, and you know, that's why shitheads put Goodfellas on their wall, like posters on their wall, and they don't understand that movie is not actually a celebration of gangster lifestyle, but is a critique of it, because they don't understand what they're watching.
Yeah. And again, like, it's fine to enjoy things.
Yeah.
It's good to enjoy things. And, you know, if you need to watch a Bond movie to escape from the horrible reality of the world, fine. I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong for that. I would encourage you to perhaps interrogate a little bit deeper some of the things that come up in the movie.
Yeah, we're not trying to be preachy here at all. And this is, if there is nothing else that this podcast is about, it is about hey, I like this thing. It's really dumb.
Oh my god, that's my favorite thing to talk about, is how much I love a thing that's very dumb.
Yeah, and you know, that's what this podcast should be about. It should be about me sharing a thing that I love but understand is stupid with you, and you're going to share a thing that you love and you think is stupid with me, and we're going to talk about it.
And hey, perhaps if we get an audience, our audience can share things that they love and is a little bit stupid. And then we'll watch it and discuss it.
And maybe one day we'll have guest stars on here.
Oh,
and they'll come on here and they'll tell us about the wonderful things that they love but are terrible, and we'll have a great time.
It'll be fine. It'll be a good time. Yeah. Hey, so here's the other thing. When I'm encouraging you to, like, it be a little bit more interrogative, that's not a word, to interrogate a little bit more deeply the things that you enjoy. I'm asking you to do that because it's literally a skill. And it is a skill that is applicable across your life.
Yeah.
And if you spend a little bit more time thinking about why you like a thing and, like, what that thing is and the message of the thing and the medium and all of that, you'll eventually exercise those muscles and you'll get better at spotting bullshit in real life. Mm-hmm. That's all that I want from you, my beloved listener.
Yeah, you shouldn't necessarily feel bad about the things you like. You should just understand why. You know, maybe that the world is full of interesting and cool things,
and sometimes they're a little bit dumb.
and you should just understand a little bit more about it. That's all.
That's all that we asked.
Yeah.
I had fun. I got mad. I had fun.
Yeah.
It made me feel emotions. Most of them somewhat negative. Some of them a little bit fun.
Yeah.
Again, like the cold open, that was great. Even like the car chase, that was great. If like we put aside all of like the dead women that he leaves behind him,
Yeah.
there's a lot of fun things happening in this movie. It was really funny when James Bond was messing with the guard outside of his cell, and he just like dropped down, and the guard was like,
oh, it's that's classic spy
That's
shit
classic
right
spy
there,
shit.
where you trick the henchman into doing a thing explicitly against like
What he's supposed to do.
what he's supposed to do. I love that stuff.
It's really good.
There's a great webcomic that I love called Order of the Stick, and it's like a D&D webcomic, and they play a lot with tropes, and there's a whole bit where they go to like the lair of the evil guy, but he's trope aware, like that's like his character thing. And so, you know, something like that happens, and one of the guards is like, oh, maybe it is an inspection, and the other one says, no, check the guidebook, and the guidebook says there are never surprise inspections. And all of the rules in there are all of the tropes that the guys always get caught on. And he's like,
stay and watch him die.
Yeah, exactly. It's really funny, and I stuff like this is where a lot of that comes from.
Yeah.
I would like to mention a few things about some of the actors that were in this movie.
Sure.
Honor Blackman, again, as Pussy Galore. She was chosen for it because she had been on the show The Avengers, which was a popular show at the time. She did receive martial arts training. Like, she was a judo fighter.
Oh, cool.
And they wanted to kind of add that to the movie, to the character, so that, it showed a little bit more about her. Apparently they almost censored the name, changed her name to Kitty, but
that would have been better.
It would have been better, but eventually they decided that they would just go with it. They would
stick with Pussy Galore.
Yeah. Gert Frobe, as I said, as Goldfinger. Apparently they considered Orson Welles to do that role.
Really?
Yeah, apparently, but he asked for too much money, so they decided to go with Gert Frobe. He didn't really speak English very well, so in this movie, instead of having the Bond girls' lines dubbed, they had to dub his lines. He did the dubbing, but it was actually really tough.
Was it like after a bunch of vocal coaching?
No, actually. So essentially what they had to do was he said the lines phonetically, but they were like too slow. So they had to speed it up so that it would match the performance.
Interesting.
Yeah. That is why this movie won Best Sound Editing at the Academy Awards. Because of the job that they did with his voice lines. They said apparently that for the time it was a achievement in cinema. They did a great job. The score was also nominated for Academy Award, but the score did not win. It was nominated, though. Pretty cool for the time.
Yeah.
And this is the first movie to be mentioned with the Academy Awards. There will be more going forward that get nominated for certain awards.
Hey, can I tell you something weird that I just found?
Sure.
So I was looking at IMDb at the list of actors. The woman who was credited as Bonita, who was the dancer from the beginning in the club.
Yeah.
Nadia Rain. She was also the girl lying on the settee playing with her jewelry from Russia with Love.
No shit.
Really, yeah, look.
Wow.
I know. And they were like, oh, we can hire her again. No one's going to notice. And we fucking didn't.
Yeah, we absolutely did not. Wow.
Thank you for coming with me to Tangent Land.
Yes. Harold Sakata, that was his name that he was known as for his actor, but his name was Toshiyuki Sakata. He was a Japanese-American actor, was from Hawaii. He actually wrestled for the United States in the Olympics. He won a silver medal. And he did some professional wrestling under the name Tosh Togo, which is the name that they had him in the credits with, was Tosh Togo. And this was his basically his whole career was Odd Job. Like he did a bunch of other stuff. He did weightlifting, he did wrestling and all that kind of stuff. Those were all big things, but his acting career, Odd Job was basically a huge success for him. He did end up being in a few other movies. A lot of them were kind of other crime and like I don't want to say sleazy movies, but like B movies, you know,
exploitation movies.
Yes, those sorts of things. He was in those. Apparently, he got hurt on the set as well. He got a really bad burn during the scene where the shock was.
Oh, where he gets electrocuted?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, apparently that did not go well. He was in a movie with Shatner in the 70s called Impulse, which I've never seen, but apparently he was actually... That was kind of a horror film. I want to really put the spotlight on some of these like smaller names in these movies because a lot of them lived really interesting lives and we don't really remember them super well, which is unfortunate. Cecil Linder was the new Felix Leiter.
Yep.
Last time it was played by Jack Lord, and apparently Lord wanted to be in the movie, but he wanted more money, he wanted co-star billing, and they just refused to do that, so they recast the part. And Cecil Linder was going to be the card guy at the beginning of the movie, and they just hired him instead. Cecil Linder was in a lot of movies. He was a well-known actor at the time. His probably other biggest role was... film that I think most people would shudder at these days, but that was Lolita. He was in that movie.
Yeah, I saw that. He's credited as physician.
Yeah, he's the doctor in that. But he ended up being in a bunch of stuff. A lot of TV, sort of more what he's known for, I think. Did a ton of stuff. But that's sort of all of those actors that I really wanted to talk about. A couple of really good ones.
I mean, all in all. Oh boy, do I like this better than From Russia with Love? I think I do like this better than From Russia with Love. So currently it's Goldfinger, From Russia with Love,
Dr. No.
Dr. No.
That's probably where I'm at as well. As I've said before, you know, Goldfinger is the quintessential James Bond film in lots of ways. That every James Bond film that comes after this in some way owes a debt to Goldfinger.
Yeah, and like again, there's like a bunch of stuff that comes from Goldfinger that is just like repeated across various other pop culture things. I mean, how many times have you seen someone strapped down to a table with a laser pointed at them? Mm-hmm. A million times.
That's this. And then it wasn't even in the books. The books, it was a saw. They wanted it more sci-fi for the movie, so they made it a laser.
That makes sense.
Lasers were brand new at this point.
Yeah.
When
cutting edge technology.
When Ian Fleming wrote the damn book, lasers didn't exist yet. Like that's how new we're talking about here.
Wild to think about.
Which is really, really cool. In fact, Guy Hamilton, the director of this movie, actually knew Ian Fleming. They had worked together in World War II. It was part of the reason why they initially wanted him for the movie, for the first one, and they couldn't get him. For all its flaws, this film has had an indelible effect on pop culture. Like,
absolutely,
you really cannot... It's just one of those movies you watch and you're just like, oh, this is that movie. Yeah. This is what that is, whether you like it or you don't. And I think it's kind of one of those movies where if you watch this movie and go, I hate this, then you basically can't watch any of the James Bond movies. You have to maybe just skip to Daniel Craig and go, okay, this is a different tone. I can do this.
Yeah.
But it's going to be more or less this tone until at least Dalton, and those two movies are not that good. And then Pierce Brosnan comes back to this tone, and then like Daniel Craig changes it. Like
that's going to be interesting in the 90s, though.
Oh, absolutely. We will get to GoldenEye, and GoldenEye is, I think, the first, I would say, self-aware James Bond. You know, these ones, they're sort of campy and they're playing it up. GoldenEye is the first movie where they're sort of like, yes, James Bond is a relic from the past, but we still need him, damn it. Which is
he's just too good at what he does.
Yeah.
Is he?
But for now, we're going to move on, and we're going to say goodbye this week.
We need to come up with some sort of like outro. If we like, do you want people following you anywhere on social media or?
Oh, good question.
Because I certainly don't. You can find me on Tumblr if you want to, but like I'm not telling you. Just keep messaging people. Hey, are you Hannah from this podcast?
Absolutely not. That's
and they're going to go, no, what podcast is that? And then they'll listen to our podcast. Haha, my devious plan.
Oh, it's a good idea. As for me, my name's Donovan. I'm in a band called Pale Gray Lore.
Oh, there you go.
We do, stoner, psych rock kind of thing. You can find us on all the places where music is and some of the places where music isn't, weirdly enough. And I also have a company called Cryptid Audio Investigations where I build guitar effects pedals. I don't know why you would be interested in them if you're listening to this, but if you are, please do. They're little like fuzz pedals based off of your favorite monsters from mythology. And they're just so cute.
They really are.
Yeah, they're so great.
They got little eyes, and their little eyes light up. It's adorable.
Yep. And those are the only two things I do, ever.
I sit in this room, and I blow my nose, and that's all that I do.
Gross. Gross.
I've been sick this whole time. You could tell, I'm sure.
That's my secret cap. I'm
always sick.
Always sick. All right, next week we're going to take on Thunderball. Thanks for listening. You can find us at mythingyourthing.com or at mythingyourthingpod on social media. Thanks to RK Maroon for letting us use their song Macaroni Art from the EP You Can't Eat Horses. You can get it at rkmaroon.bandcamp.com. If you have a thing you think we should talk about, email us at mythingyourthingpod@gmail.com, and maybe that could be our thing.